The luxury fashion world was basking in its usual glamour when suddenly a storm rolled in. A storm wearing high heels and holding a grudge. Charlotte Gainsbourg, the enigmatic daughter of the late Jane Birkin, stepped out of the shadows and into the fire with a fury no one saw coming. She had always carried the Birkin name with subtle grace, choosing privacy over spectacle. But this time, she made noise. Loud, scandalous, and utterly unmissable noise. The chaos started with an anonymous leak. A mysterious insider at Hermès reportedly sent confidential photos and internal documents to a rogue fashion blogger. These files allegedly revealed that Hermès had struck a top-secret deal with mass retailer Walmart, yes, Walmart, to manufacture Birkin-inspired bags using leftover designs and dead-stock leather. The goal? To push these discount Birkins into the affordable market under a hidden label without ever revealing their Hermès origins. At first, it sounded like a conspiracy. But then, social media detectives got to work. Influencers began posting photos of suspiciously similar Walmart bags that looked eerily close to classic Birkin styles. The stitching, the shape, even the hardware.
No. Why? Because I'm stupid? That's not the word I would use. Really, what word then? Non-school oriented. Fuck you, I'm in school, let me help.
Ellie's super smart, what? Characterization of Ellie being dumb is weird.
I'm pregnant.
Alright, weird choice of timing. I was... What?
You don't know where that finger's been.
Fans were stunned. Are we being duped? One viral TikTok caption read, garnering over 3 million views. Hermès didn't respond. But Charlotte? She exploded. Sources close to the Birkin family say Charlotte was furious when she saw the leaked documents. "This is not just a bag," she allegedly told a close friend. "This is my mother's name, her story, her soul, and they're selling it off like clearance trash." Behind closed doors, the confrontation began. Charlotte demanded an immediate meeting with Hermès executives, and she wasn't alone. An insider who attended the meeting said, "She walked in wearing all black, no makeup, just rage." The room fell silent when she entered. Everyone could feel the tension. What happened next was nothing short of explosive. According to reports, Charlotte launched into a fiery tirade, accusing Hermès of exploiting her mother's legacy for profit. "You think you can just slap her name on cheap leather and push it through Walmart shelves?" she allegedly screamed. This bag meant something. It was crafted from elegance, not greed. Executives tried to calm her, but she refused to back down. "You want war?" she reportedly said. "Fine, I'll burn it all down." And burn it. She did, not literally, but symbolically. That very night, Charlotte posted a cryptic black and white photo of her mother holding the first Birkin bag ever made, with the caption, "Legacy is not for sale." The post went instantly viral. The fashion world was rattled. Major publications like Vogue, Vanity Fair, and even Forbes scrambled to cover the unfolding scandal. Fans flooded social media with messages of support, outrage, and disbelief. Charlotte just did what no one else had the guts to do, one user tweeted. She protected what Birkin really meant. But what no one expected was what came next. Because just as the internet exploded with support for Charlotte's bold stand, another leak surfaced. And this one didn't just threaten Hermès, it threatened the entire legacy of Jane Birkin herself. Another leak surfaced, and this time, it didn't come from a fashion insider or anonymous blogger. It came from inside the Birkin family itself. A second wave of confidential emails and voice memos were suddenly leaked to an underground fashion gossip site known for unfiltered exposés. Among the files was an audio clip, shaky, full of background noise, but unmistakably authentic, where a voice sounding eerily like Charlotte's could be heard arguing with a family member. "You think she would have wanted this?" the voice said. "My mother never asked for a bag to be named after her. And now look what they've done. Turned her into a logo." That one line sent shockwaves across the internet. Fans who idolized the Birkin bag, once a symbol of wealth and exclusivity, were now questioning whether Jane Birkin herself had ever supported its cultural obsession. And more importantly, did Charlotte resent the very bag that made her family's name iconic? A close family friend came forward in a now viral interview, claiming that Jane had always had a complex relationship with Hermès. She was honored, yes, but there were times she felt uncomfortable with how much commercial weight the bag carried. She once joked that the bag had become more famous than her, the source revealed, almost whispering the words, as if saying, them too loudly would offend the legacy itself. But if Charlotte had inherited her mother's distaste for commercialization, she had taken it to an entirely different level. In the days...
So, in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same. So it really conflicts with what the character's supposed to be portrayed as here. It's never any fun not being able to go to sleep, just like it wasn't any fun watching Last of Us Season 2.
Following her confrontation with Hermès, she reportedly began legal proceedings to formally distance the Birkin name from the brand. A letter from her legal team was leaked to the press, and its contents were ice cold. Effective immediately, the Birkin family revokes all moral and symbolic association with the Hermès Birkin brand. Any continued use of the Birkin name will be considered a violation of personal legacy. The fashion world reeled. Was this even legally possible? Could a name so embedded in the culture of luxury suddenly be severed from its roots? Experts debated the implications on live news panels, fashion editors panicked over what this meant for their coverage, and collectors began whispering in corners, is this the end of the Birkin bag? But behind the headlines, something even more personal was unraveling. Sources say that Charlotte's bold stance caused a deep rift within the family. Not everyone agreed with her methods. A cousin who wished to remain anonymous shared private texts with a journalist showing heated arguments. She's acting like she owns our mother's memory, one message read. Jane wouldn't want her legacy turned into a war. Even Jane Birkin's longtime partner, Jacques Doyon, reportedly reached out in private to plead for moderation. But Charlotte didn't budge. She believed Hermès had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed, and she wasn't about to back down just to keep the peace. Meanwhile, Hermès had fallen silent. The luxury house, known for its untouchable image and guarded press strategy, issued a brief, emotionless statement. We remain committed to honoring the creative spirit behind the Birkin bag and continue to work with the utmost respect toward our legacy. But insiders claimed panic was bubbling behind the scenes. Sales dropped. Stockholders asked questions. And most damningly, fashion insiders whispered that a quiet recall of certain inspired designs had already begun at Walmart locations. But the damage had been done. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Hermès, yet another twist emerged from the shadows. This time, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about fashion. It was about betrayal. And someone on the inside had just turned against Charlotte herself. The betrayal hit Charlotte like a dagger through the heart. And the worst part? It came from someone she trusted most, just days after she...
I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah.
Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons, because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19. Where Ellie just doesn't feel like she's changed. She still feels like that same kid from season 1 who's just constantly joking and extremely immature.
Made her bold, legal move against Hermès. A private letter surfaced online, and this time, it wasn't Hermès behind the leak. It was her own half-sister, Lou Doyon. The letter, allegedly written by Jane Birkin herself in the final months of her life, was addressed to both daughters. In it, Jane spoke candidly about her mixed feelings toward the Birkin bag, but also about her hope that her daughters would protect her memory with unity, not with conflict. The words were haunting, intimate, and devastatingly clear. This bag is not my soul. It is a moment in time. Let the world have it if it brings them joy, but never let it come between you. The world read those words as if they were witnessing a sacred family secret unfold in real time. And it wasn't just the content of the letter that shocked fans, it was the fact that Lou had leaked it. Insiders claim Charlotte was blindsided and betrayed. She hadn't known the letter even existed. She reportedly called her sister in tears, demanding to know why she would make something so private public. "You don't get to decide what Mom would have wanted," Charlotte allegedly shouted during the call. "You're just scared of standing up to the people who are profiting off her name." Lou, ever the quiet storm in the family, responded with a single post on Instagram, a black square with the words, "Truth doesn't need to scream." The post garnered hundreds of thousands of likes, but the comment section was an all-out war. Fans were divided. Some supported Charlotte's crusade, admiring her strength and refusal to compromise. Others sided with Lou, claiming Charlotte was weaponizing grief for attention and dragging a family legacy through the mud for personal pride. As the sisters' feud spilled into the public eye, the Birkin name began to crumble under the weight of controversy. Fashion commentators who once...
In the game, Ellie has a lot more grit. Ellie is also smart in the game. For some reason, they made the decision for The Last of Us Season 2 to make Ellie dumb, to the point where she even says that she's stupid. Why? That just kind of betrays the character. Yeah, she's supposed to be like reckless and everything, but that doesn't mean that she's some like lobotomite. Dina feels like the actual main character of Season 2, whereas Ellie just feels like the quirky sidekick constantly scrambling to make a quip.
Praised the brand's exclusivity, we're now calling it a symbol of elitist collapse. One viral headline read, "From coveted to cursed, how the Birkin became a battlefield." Meanwhile, influencers began distancing themselves. A major Ishura fashion blogger posted a dramatic video titled, "Why I'm No Longer Carrying My Birkin," complete with tears, apologies, and a symbolic drop of the bag into a fireplace, though viewers later questioned if it was a replica. Behind the scenes, Hermès was reportedly scrambling. Sources claimed the company offered Charlotte a silent settlement, a seven-figure sum in exchange for her silence, and a promise to cease all public commentary. Charlotte refused. "This isn't about money," she allegedly told her attorney. "It's about dignity, about legacy, and they already sold that for clearance prices." But just when it seemed like the family divide couldn't get any wider, something unexpected happened. A former Hermès executive, recently fired amid the Walmart backlash, came forward with damning claims that could turn the entire scandal on its head. In an exclusive anonymous interview, he revealed that the idea to sell the Birkin designs to Walmart had originated years ago, and with the approval of someone very close to the Birkin family. "Let's just say not every member of the Birkin bloodline was against it," he said ominously. "Some people were happy to profit off the name while pretending to stay silent." The implication was clear. Someone in Jane Birkin's inner circle had known about the knockoff deal all along. The question wasn't just who betrayed the family, but who had been lying the whole time. And Charlotte. She had no idea that the truth she thought she was defending might be far more complicated than she ever imagined. The walls were closing in, and Charlotte Birkin, once hailed as a grieving daughter defending her mother's legacy, was now caught in a storm she could no longer control. The anonymous Hermès executive's revelation ignited a new media firestorm, turning the scandal from a story of corporate betrayal into a full-blown whodunit laced with deceit, money, and buried family secrets. Gossip blogs, fashion columnists, and even mainstream news anchors speculated endlessly. Who in the Birkin circle had greenlit the Walmart deal? Was it Lou, trying to quietly benefit while shielding herself from Charlotte's rage? Was it an estranged cousin in financial ruin? Or, the most controversial theory yet, was Jane Birkin herself aware and complicit in the design dilution that now threatened to destroy everything? Charlotte's world crumbled with every headline. Supporters began to waver, comment sections turned hostile. Influencers who once championed her courage now distanced themselves, issuing half-hearted statements about family matters and staying neutral. And worse still, leaked documents began to circulate claiming that Charlotte herself had attended a secret meeting with Hermès executives nearly a year ago, one where the idea of market expansion had been discussed. The documents, signed with a single initial, C, threw everything into chaos. Was Charlotte the whistleblower or the mastermind? Her PR team issued a fiery denial. Charlotte Birkin has never, and will never, participate in any deal that compromises her mother's values. Any claim to the contrary is a fabrication, part of a broader smear campaign orchestrated by corporate interests. But the damage was already done. Public opinion had fractured.
That it's all Bella Ramsey's acting's fault here for the lackluster season. And I don't really agree with that. I don't think this material would work even if they did recast Ellie for somebody else that could embody, the grit and the intimidation that Ellie had in the game.
Narrative of a noble daughter versus a greedy corporation no longer held up. The emotional toll was devastating. Insiders say Charlotte retreated to her mother's old countryside home in the south of France, refusing all interviews, ignoring calls, even from close friends. She feels hunted, one source claimed. She thought she was fighting for something pure. Now she doesn't know who to trust, even herself. Meanwhile, Hermès saw a sudden, ironic surge in sales. The controversy, while bruising to their image, created buzz. Collectors rushed to grab the last real Birkins before any rebranding could occur. Walmart, oddly, pulled the disputed designs from shelves, citing inventory realignment, but everyone knew it was damage control. The brand's legal team stayed silent, but rumors swirled that internal lawsuits were being prepared against Charlotte, against Lou, and possibly even against the whistleblowing former executive. And in the middle of it all, a new voice emerged. A woman claiming to be Jane Birkin's former assistant came forward in an emotional video, her face blurred, voice trembling. She held up a diary, Jane's diary, she claimed, and read an excerpt that sent shivers down viewers' spines. "I hope my daughters will not turn my memory into a weapon. I want peace, not headlines. If they must fight, let them fight for something that matters, not handbags." That clip broke the internet. The backlash was immediate and relentless. Both Charlotte and Lou faced accusations of exploiting grief for fame, of turning a quiet woman's name into a global spectacle. But despite everything, Charlotte remained silent. No press conferences, no rebuttals, just silence. Then, days. Later, a letter was posted to her official website. No PR filters, no legal jargon, just Charlotte, in her own words. "I did what I believed was right. I was angry. I was mourning. I wanted to protect what little of my mother the world hadn't taken, but maybe I forgot that she wasn't just mine. She belonged to all of us. And maybe she was okay with that." With that, the firestorm began to die down. The hashtags slowed. The media moved on, but the scars remained. The Birkin name, once pristine, untouchable, had been cracked. Open, its luxury exposed as fragile, human, and heartbreakingly flawed. And somewhere in a dusty Hermès boardroom, behind layers of polished oak and silence, decisions were being made about the future of the bag that started it all. And now, as the dust settles and the world tries to make sense of this chaotic unraveling, one question still lingers. Was Charlotte Birkin a fallen hero, or just another player in a much bigger game of legacy, luxury, and lies? The Birkin name may never be the same again. Hermès might survive the scandal, but its image has taken a hit no PR machine can fully repair. And Charlotte? She's left standing in the shadows of a brand built on her mother's mystique, caught between loyalty and legacy, truth, and perception. But the real twist? This story might not be over. Whispers are already spreading about leaked audio calls, unreleased diary pages, and one final bombshell that could flip everything we thought we knew. So don't look away just yet, because in the world of fashion, silence is rarely the end. It's just the calm before the next storm. If you were in Charlotte's place, would you have exposed Hermès or stayed silent to protect your mother's name? Do you believe she acted out of love or ego? Tell us in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts, your theories, your truth. And if you don't want to miss what drops next, Like this video,